yeah, a lot of growth stocks start to sell off last week, and then a few of them start to rebound. Some is kind of like going sideways, and some of them continue to go down. Let me share my screen for a second, like, because I think you can't see it. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let me just kind of, like, I think it's important to understand what's happening in general. So and so here I'm talking about specifically about growth stocks. So January we have kind of like this going up really strong. Let's do that in green. Oh, screw up. Let's do that in green. And then February. Oops. I keep screwing this up. So January, and then we have February and March kind of like not doing so well. And then we have, okay, so then April comes the earnings. So the earnings came, and so this is what happened. The growth stock is starting to come back a little bit, and some of them, hit new highs and so whatever. Then what we have is kind of like a divergence. So this earnings report, we saw some growth stocks continue to make new highs, and then we see a lot of growth stock actually going down. Okay, so that's what's last week, and and last week we said that IBD even changed the condition to under pressure. So the market is generally under pressure. The breadth is really low. There's only not too many stocks leading the market. Mostly big caps, and they're still leading. Like Google did really well this week. So it continues to be the same story. Now, what's happening right now? This is the the growth stocks that we've been monitoring the whole year, and so now a lot of them are kind of like, continue to go down, right? Some of them, and then some of them are kind of like going sideways, and then there's a few that kind of starting to rebound, like that. And then what we're seeing actually is this stocks that have been hitting hard are starting to so they're kind of building a base. So they've been building a base, and as this earnings report start, that group is starting to bounce, and that is very interesting this week. So so the ones that are correcting a lot in February and March, actually, they have been building a base. They weren't the strongest one, but now they kind of took the lead a little bit, but not many of them. Okay, there's not, like, we're still talking very limited number of stocks here, but it has widened because there was a big group here that was undergoing correction. And then the ones that was the strongest, and we saw the semiconductor group, those are the ones that kind of was at this junction here. Right, and some of them, like, only a couple of them went up, like Nvidia, SMCI, and then the rest kind of like went down pretty sharply. So it's a very mixed picture. We're gonna jump straight to let's see here. I'm gonna jump straight to this chart here that they usually have. Let me find it. I pass it. Let me search for it. Let's see if we can find this. I can pull it off MarketSmith too, but let's see. This thing is really slow. Okay, B6, so that should be. Just keep searching. Okay, this thing is not. There you go. Okay, so B6. We're just gonna jump to this. Let me see what right here. Okay. So this is S&P 500. And this chart, really, the most important thing beside the color coding, well, let's look at the chart here. S&P 500, you can see it's been going sideways, like range bound for a long time now, like really tight range S&P. But the problem you can see here, this is the advanced decline line, and you can see it's just going down, right? So there's more stocks going down than going up, despite the index holding up. So not a lot. This is more obvious on the Nasdaq. So we scroll down to the Nasdaq, and you can see this top line here is the advanced decline line. So there's way more stocks declining, and this one is a little bit more obvious than stocks that are going up. But yet this index actually, as I texted you on Wednesday, it made a new high. This year a new high. So that was very interesting, right? So again, we're still seeing not enough breadth. But this, to me, this is like, right? It can be like a good thing or a bad thing. It's kind of like a contrarian indicator, right? Because if you think about it, last week we were saying, hey, the market is one step away from going down hard. But it didn't. What did it do? It made a new high. Like that was, surprising. Despite so little market breadth, right? And the other thing is, can you imagine what happens if these stocks that have been correcting, because they've been going down, there's way more stocks going down than going up. What happens if these stocks start to move up? And that's what I'm seeing this week, okay? And I'm starting to see that. And like I said, the breadth is still bad, but it's improving, right? So that is very interesting to me. So what I'm saying is, like, there are probably, like, market is not going to be super bullish, but it may be like moving up slowly now. And this is, almost related to the quote where people say market climbs a wall of worries. And that is true. There's lots of worries right now. There are more than ever. There's debt ceiling that's kind of now starting to be the headline. Who knows what's the next headline? There could be a lot more. And even though with all these worries, as more worries pile up, but yet the market make new high. You see what I'm saying? Now, with that being said, we still have to pick the right stocks. We still have to get into the right entry point. We still have to, manage our risk. We still have to probably take profit more often than not because of how volatile things are. So unless you're buying, and this is something that everyone's talking about now, which is a little bit scary, is that everyone's talking about how they, a lot of them missed the big cap tax boat, right? Because it's been running pretty strong this year, right? That is the one group that has been really performing. I think in general, at least like on average, the big 7 cap stocks is, I don't remember the number, but for sure it's over like close to 20% or something. Well, Nasdaq is close to 19% or something like that. 70% right here, see? And then if you buy the big cap tax, it's probably a lot more than this. Probably, I don't know, average maybe 20-something%. So, that's a pretty good performance for like portfolio managers if they were holding a lot of big cap tax. So we have Dow here, and see Dow, the picture look more. You see how many red days there are? It's incredible. But despite so many red days, the index is not that far from the new high. It's still near 33,000, right? And the high is only 34,200, which is like less than 1,000 points away, despite so many red days on the Dow. And again, like you can look at it from a half full empty glass, or half full glass, or half empty glass, right? Like whichever point of view you want to look at. But I'm starting to lean more towards the half full glass, because despite so much negative worries, despite so much down days, and so much volatility, and index are doing the opposite. Now, like I said, the only thing that is really negative is this. Like, I would consider this really negative. It's the advanced decline line. But if but here's what I'm saying, right? If this thing start to turn up, then that's what I'm talking about. The market can move like quite significantly in the next few months, right? I don't know if this is gonna move, but like this could go on and go on and go on. Like we don't know, right? And we don't know when that trigger will happen. But it almost seems like it's getting to to me, it feels like it's getting long-winded, meaning like it's already been like, over a month now. So I feel like most people who want to sell will have sold by now, but I don't know. I don't know. So yeah. So what's your take on this?
No, I agree. Basically, but I'm a little bit scared because the breadth part, like I do have little bit of big caps,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm still holding them. But the thing is, yeah, right. If the rest of the market doesn't participate, then how long this like the big caps can run?
That's right. That's right. And that's what we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, the only thing that has changed this week is the fact that market Nasdaq specifically hit new high. We're not sure, like I think not that like after that morning, we can go back and look at it. It kind of reversed, right? And so I was thinking, okay, this might be a trap, right? And it's possible that it's a trap. But like I said, I saw a big difference this week in terms of stocks acting well, especially on earnings, versus the weeks before. It was like almost like opposite, right? It's like even if it was good earning, it will bounce out and then it goes back down. This week there was some, right? Don't get me wrong. There's still some stocks doing that, but it wasn't as bad, right? And also actually some of them even, I see more actually where it went down and then came back up. So and that's exactly what you want to see. So meaning like, despite the bad earnings, they still went up, which is a good thing. So it was almost the opposite. Like there's way more stocks doing that than the week before, where it was just doing the negative reversal. So there's more upside reversal this week. But let's look at that on Wednesday. What happened again? So let's go to 50-minute here, and you see this is what happened. Yeah. So you can see on Wednesday it made this new high on Nasdaq. I'm using QQQ, but it's very similar. And then it reversed right away. But look at where it closed, right? That was really incredible. And that's exactly what I want to see. Okay. And then on Friday, it made a new high again. So this is now 2 highs in a row, higher highs. And look at this, higher lows. Okay. So I expect Monday to continue this run again. Of course, it could fall apart. And this would be a trap, meaning people who bought here are trapped. And it could, break this. This is a pretty consistent trend line. Like this is like 6 days of trend line right here. If it breaks this, then this would pretty much be classified as a bull trap, right? So we'll have to wait and see what happens next week. But so far, this is the trend. The trend is that we are finding support near here, and we are making new highs and higher lows, right? So there's one analyst on Friday. Her name is Anastasia. I can't remember which company she represents. But she said, hey, you can buy the QQQ, right? Like you don't necessarily have to buy the big cap tax. You can buy, of course, the QQQ is lead by the big caps, and so but at least it's a little bit more diversified than just buying just 1 or 2 or 3 big cap stocks. And if the market were to really take off from here, and no one knows, but let's just say it does, then at least you're not missing out, right? If this is truly the new bull market, and the market is really starting to, I don't know. Let's look at some, like this indicator here for interest rate. So it's now 84%, not moving the rates. So this is a very high bet on the Fed not moving the rate. And if this is true, how will the market react? So you kind of have to ask yourself that question. I personally think it will be very bullish because this is the first time in over a year and almost like 4 months they haven't stopped raising rates, right? This will be the first time they pause. So to me, that's a good news. At least meaning like they're not. See, one of the worries that most analysts have, like at least the bears, they think not the reason why we will go into a hard landing is because the Fed, well, partly because of the economy slowing down, but mainly because also the Fed is feeling the fire, right? So so things are going to get much worse. And people like Professor Siegel, he said, it's way overdone now. Like he said that even last month they should have stopped. So, but he truly believes the Fed will listen to the market, and it's heavily priced in right now. But just because it's priced in doesn't mean the market still won't react, right? Because there's a lot of naysayers out there. So there's lots of bears, and so if the market truly pauses, and it's because so many people doesn't believe it, it could bounce hard, right? If that is the case. So we're not that far away. June 14th. So a month exactly. And this week, the economic numbers are actually, much better, because we saw last Friday, the one before, last week we were saying how the Friday job report was, still showing lots of inflation and high employment numbers. And then this week, what did we see? We saw CPI data, right? Much lower than anticipated. Well, not much lower, but it was lower. So I think it was hitting 4.9%. And I have a chart to show you. It's more obvious if you look at the chart. So let me go to it. Right here. So, this has been climbing. CPI has been climbing since 2020. And now it peaked at early 2022. I think it was around March. And you can see it just continued to go down. Now, and this is what we're talking about, right? 4.9%. So based on, and I heard someone, an analyst said, if you just look at the last 3 months, if you projected that to a year, and this is just based on the last 3 months, it will be 3.2%. So that is the real rate. Okay, this is the yearly rate, but if you project the most recent number, is actually at 3.2%. So we are getting closer and closer to under 3, right? Between 2 and 3. So there's really no need for the Fed to be too aggressive anymore, because things are just continue to slow down, right? As this monetary effect, because it usually takes a year to a year and a half to start to take effect. So now it's happening. And again, so here's the core CPI, same thing. You can see it continues to go down, not as sharp, but obviously people want to see this more sharper, but it is continuing, like it's not going up, right? We see also the service price, excluding energy, also starting to turn. This is the big one. This is the service we've been talking about. Like originally it was the goods, and now we're starting to see the service start to go down, right? So this is all good news. And so so that's what happening. And then same thing with producer price index, also under expected. Again, this is very important now. I think moving forward, market might react on this news. Is the employment claims, unemployment claims every week that they report on Thursday. I think market is going to start to pay attention to this. This is the first time it jumped to 264,000, the highest level since October 2021. So this is starting to show the labor market is slowing down now. And the market didn't react too much to it, but I think overall, it should be reflected. So overall, like I said, the economic numbers are really good. And then on Friday we have Janet Yellen, which is kind of interesting. Janet Yellen make a comment about the debt ceiling, saying how they will get resolved, but the markets didn't go up right on Friday. So so that's the news. Let's look at I think it's this symbol. I always get it wrong. Let's try this. Oh no. See here. Yeah. Okay, it's GMIAA. Oh, it's because I choose 15 minutes. Okay, so not this chart. Let me see. This one, yeah, okay. So this is right here, the second graph here is the overbought, oversold indicator. And you can see the red line is basically flat. And right now we exactly not overbought or not oversold, okay? Because we are at the red line. So the market has been kind of neutral. So which is a good thing, like I said. But but underneath you can see at the bottom chart here, this is the 10-day average new highs and new lows. So you can see the new highs are still new lows. The pink color is the new lows. And the new highs, but you notice the new highs, I know it's very subtle probably from your angle, but it has been slowly moving up. Very slow. Very slow, okay? It's not like a steep curve. But it is moving up. It's not moving lower. But but like I say, the new lows has been still like it has come down in the last week. But we want to see this going down. So they say that, and I don't have the chart here, but this is just based on 1 year right here. But when you look back like 10 years or whatever, generally the bull market always lead by new highs. So which makes sense, right? You should have more new highs than new lows in the bull market. So until that change, it's very hard to not you won't be able to confirm a bull market. So that's just something to, like I said, be considerate. I don't know if it will change anytime soon, but like I said, it's gotta be a trigger, right? So come back to this diagram here that we draw. I think this is really good. This right here, I think this is something we should be watching right now. We still want to pay attention to the growth stocks that did well in April, but they're probably going to do the same thing, which is they're going to build a base. But the guys that have been correcting are now coming out of the base, and that's what that's what I'm kind of more focused on right now. And yeah. So that's and we'll talk about the stocks right in that group. So any questions so far?
No, sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue. See here. I think we talked. So this current week, there's not much news, but we have retail sales on Tuesday, which is and then also we have big retail earnings, Walmart and Target. So that will move the market because right now if the economy is slowing down, people really want to know what happened at the retail level. So it's gonna move the market. Thursday we have the jobless claim. So like I said, there's not much news, but those two things could be moving the market this week, coming week. And then we can look at lots of stocks. This is stuff that I just read from IBD newspaper, but I haven't really looked into all of it. But we see Shockwave, Lululemon mentioned, Onon's gonna report this week. There's DV double verified reporting that okay. We see lots of travel stocks kind of moving up, which is very interesting. So yeah. Let me jump to maybe take a quick look at this. So this is the big thing that happened this week. Market has been under pressure for a couple of weeks, and on Wednesday, as it make a new high, IBD confirm it goes back into uptrend, at least at the index level, and so, yeah, and you can see here it's really because of the CPI report, and but you see overall distribution. This is what this is. Overall distribution of stocks are still way more than the ones under accumulation, and same thing in the industry group. You can see there's way more industry groups being distributed than the one being accumulated. And then in the subsectors, I don't know. Okay, yeah, the header is gone right now, but I'll have to fix that. Let me set this. U to freeze pane top row. Okay, let's go back down. Yeah, so technology, you can see everything is negative. So which means the net accumulation distribution number is still more negative in each sector, right? So there's not much accumulation at all this week. So like I said, the breadth is really bad still. And this is why I think there's way, to me, I feel like more people are on the bearish side than the bullish side right now. Especially now, it's been like 3 weeks of not much accumulation. So this is why I think like there's way more selling than buying, right? Okay, so that's that. So like really, you can see there's not one sector doing well. Okay, now let's jump on the topic of like a little bit of subsectors here, like gold, right? So GDX, let's look at GDX or gold, which doesn't matter which one. This is just index, and you can see like I got shaken out on Friday. I bought it here the week before, and it bounced for a day, and then it started to fall. We are very close to this small handle base here. We'll see if it rebound from here, but it did undercut the 10-day and 21-day. Yeah, I think the stock level, for example, like AGI, that's another stock I own. This one you can see it looks a lot better, right? Because you can see the base right here, like, well, it's not really a big base, but just the last pullback, and then you can see where it pulled back is much higher compared to GDX as a whole. So this stock is definitely relative strength is, you can see here RS, it's like, higher lows here. You can see that as well. The other stock that I've owned, OR, reported this week. It didn't jump, like it was up in the morning and then it was down by the end of the day. You can see the reporting here, but it's holding tight at the 10-day, so that's the good news. I don't know if I added more or not. I don't think I did, but if this bounce, I'm gonna add, because this is holding much stronger there, like than I said, if you compare to GDX. Like even if you look at gold, GLD is probably the same thing, right? This is another ETF. Okay, so this one looks slightly better than GDX, because GDX is almost near this line here. So maybe even as an index, this one might be better to own. Yeah, since we're talking about this, let me just jump to it right now. So let me filter by commodities here. So EGO is another one. That's another gold stock. Yeah, so this one, same thing. Like this, a little bit more volatile, but they all have the same pattern, right? So it really doesn't matter which one you own, because they all seem to follow the same pattern. Or you can be diversified like me, just buy a few of them. So you can see like AGI, OR. This probably this. Oh, Kinross Gold. Also. Similar. Okay, look at this. This one is at 10-day like AGI. So these two are stronger. KGC, Kinross, and AGI, because they're at the 10-day. They're not even at the 21-day yet. So there's a couple ideas. I think gold. I don't know. I feel like gold, because they're all broken out, right? See this base right here, and you can go back to all those stocks. They're all broken out from a big base, and they're like most of them have moved up like about 10% or so. This is the 20% mark. So it could continue. This might be a new, because you have to understand, gold stocks has been on the bear for a long time now. And they could take off, and this this is like basically Mark Mini stage 2, right? Because you have a prior uptrend, and then this is like basically stage 1, and now this is stage 2. Right, so it could have a long way to go, but of course everyone's still waiting for the big breakout on the on this black line right here. This is yeah, it's still having a hard time, because every time you make a new high, it pulls back. You can see that, right? So it's not easy to hold, right? But if you have a more, like I said, intermediate term, like 3 to 6 months, it'll be easier to hold if you give it more time. But everyone's watching this, because once this breaks out, it's going to move strong. But yeah, so that's that one. I think that's it for gold. Any other gold stuff you want to look at? Oh, there's Argo, Rand Gold. That one is also probably similar. Notice how they're all at the top here, right? Sorted by commodities because they're performing well. So yeah, see, it's a higher low than this low. So similar. They're all similar, Obviously, this one is still below the previous base. So it's not the strongest one of them, but it is. All right, so that's gold. There is this VIST, International Oil and Gas Exploration. This one just reported. It's bouncing right now. You can see I got shaken out Thursday, but it bounced back pretty strong right there. So yeah, I might have to get back in. So, but that's the thing, right? Like oil and gas can be very volatile right now. But I like how Friday's volume is higher. So yeah, so this is good. This is good. Let me make a note of this. AGI. Okay, we talked. So solar stocks also did well on Friday. I think I don't know if I have it here. First Solar. Yeah, First Solar is at the top here. First Solar. Let's look at it quickly here. I just want to check the earnings. Can't remember the last time I looked at it. Okay, still at 125% growth. That's pretty strong. And then it reports they're buying another company, I believe in Europe or something. I don't know where actually. But it reacted really strongly in the news, and this actually propelled the whole sector. So if I look at 10,
Look at the volume.
yeah. So if you look at the overall group, okay, maybe the 10 doesn't look as good because it closed at the bottom range, but the volume is high. Let's go back to First Solar, but a lot of them did well. So I don't like some of them didn't do as well, but most of them did. Like so, First Solar is one of them. SCDG, CELH. Okay, so this one closed at the bottom of the range. Sometimes like closing at the bottom of the range is not bad, right? Because it's making a new high, and it's coming up on the right side of the base. Of course, if the second day continue to go down, then that would be a bad sign. But sometimes it does this just to just to shake out some people. So I usually treat those days, like I won't buy on that day, but like I say, I will wait for the next day and see if it continues again. If it continues again, then that's when I buy. So this is SCDG. Also at the top here. So this is First Solar. Right, let me mark that. And then we have SCDG here. Looks good. Array, yes, Array and Shows. So these two. Let's look at those two. Array also bounced. See, this one closed at the top. So these are stronger, the ones that bounce at the top, because people aren't willing to give up their shares, right? So that's good, and you can see the huge volume coming in. Shows also doing this one. Okay, didn't have a bigger range, but it's still good because it's holding, right? And then above 200 day, above all the short-term moving average. Volume slightly lower, but still okay. We still have this one day like react on their earnings. That's really good news. So it's doing okay. Obviously there's this trend line right here. Okay, it broke that on Wednesday and it's holding tight. So that's good. That looks good. Yeah. So I like it. So Array and Shows. So one thing I learned, like whenever solar stocks move, they move in pack. And now that most of them are starting to move again, like because you can see all these ones, they're just coming out on the right side, right? So we'll go back Array. You can see now they're coming on the right side. You go to SDG. They're coming on the right side. Of course, they could continue to go down. We'll see. Maybe one day, so just a one day phenomenon. Obviously, First Solar is now the only one that has made new high. We'll see. I don't know. Sometimes it is a one-day phenomenon, so we'll have to see. That's why I don't usually, buy on such a big gap up. Yeah. So, because if it falls back, you're gonna get shaken up pretty fast, and not only that, probably usually when there's a big gap up, like it's harder to put a tight stop. So, yeah. So that's that. This next is the IPO that did really well this week. I don't know what the news is because I wasn't paying attention to it. There must be some news because it moves really strongly in this last 2 days. It made new high. Oh, this is solar. Yeah, it's probably following the solar market. But this moved even before Friday, right? Because Friday was this big run, but Thursday. So this is IPO. Yeah, it's a really strong stock. Yeah, I would follow this guy. It's now extended though, so but it had, like, you can see from a performance level since IPO, it hasn't done much, but now it's starting, right? So so it's something to possibly can do really well. Yeah. So that's that, and then there's a couple more. Here you go, machinery, construction, mining, so TEX. Okay, this one is still on a downtrend, so we'll have to break that downtrend. So this is machinery. We have TNK, this is oil and gas pipeline. Yeah, so this group is still very volatile. You can see, look at this trading range, it's crazy. So this is what I'm talking about, right? Like first day bounce up, second day it comes back down. So, I don't know. Sometimes it keep going, and sometimes it just does this, right? So it's a gamble, right? So, yeah, I usually like to see what happened on the second day before I buy. I just don't want to take the risk of getting shaken out. Some of them will work, and some of them won't. So, but right now you can see, I still like gold, and I like the solar right now, but like I say, solar could be a one-day phenomenon. We'll see. That area is really, like Enphase is still doing pretty bad. Let me see if it bounced on Friday. Okay, it did bounce on Friday. You see, this stock is just really been beaten so much, but this is really tight action right now. Like, I'm surprised how tight this is. That's usually a sign of a bottom. So yeah, but for me, I have a rule: when the stock is down a lot, I don't usually buy on 10-day. I would buy on 50-day, especially if 50-day and 10-day is not that far away. So I rather buy, like, cause I don't. Do you see how these arrows I draw here? Right here, 1, 2, 3. Look at how many times it hit 50-day. It just keep like getting stomped by the 50-day, and then this is the only time right here past 50-day, and then it fell here on the earnings, right? So I would be cautious on the 50-day still. So I'll set alert here on the 50-day. Yeah. Okay. So, but it's still, I don't know why it's doing so poorly, honestly. It's just, it's out of this whole group. This is like so bad. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the commodity sector. Any other question on this sector?
No.
Let's look at technology. So, like, retail is right now, like, like I said, the child airlines and stuff. We'll look at that in a second. But technology is not doing bad. So yeah, this is technology. There's some new names. Azure. Let's just take a quick look. Okay, so this is kind of bounce. See, this is a problem, right? Some of this stuff, they bounce on the earnings, reverse, and then the second day you see it drop. That's the confirmation, that it's not working, right? So It hasn't made new low yet, but it's pretty close. But it's the number one, right, on the list, meaning it has the best performance. So it might just need more time to consolidate. Yeah, so like I said, this is a new name, consumer set. So I don't know what they do. But SMCI is still at the top. Let's take a quick look because that's the chip stocks. So this one is holding really tight as well. This is exactly what you want to see. 10 days catching up. So there's a high chance it will, cross 10 days, shake out some people, and then bounce. That's what I'm looking for, right? But it could also keep, break below 10 day and continue to the 50, right? So I don't know, because this stock is very good at, you can see here, 50 day, 50 day, 50 day. Like it's very good at hitting the 50 days. So I wouldn't be surprised if it does that. But in terms of chip, let me come back to this. There is one stock here, ILGM. This one is starting to rebound. It's still pretty weak. You can see it's still under 21 days. You see it found resistance here. That's another thing I also find. Like if it doesn't cross it and stay above it, watch the second day. Look, it just couldn't go up, right? So that's a weakness right there. Because what you want to see is a follow through, but it just couldn't. It's like it couldn't even hit a new high. So there's lots of people still wanting to sell here. But the volume is starting to dry up. So that's a good sign. But like I say, you can see I set a alert here at the 21 day. But this is the beside SMCI, like this is the ones that have been has fallen, and now it's starting to rebound, right? So there's not many of them doing, too good. I think ACLS might be doing the same thing. Yeah. So this one has rebound, Rambus. Okay, this one is probably the best beside SMCI. This one is probably, but I don't like the earnings negative. LSCC. Okay, this one is kind of like, this one hasn't even tried hard enough. Look at this; it's at the bottom of the range. So this is not as good, sure. So and then we can look at the index overall. So everyone's saying how it is stuck below 50-day now. Now it's not far away, so at any moment, any good news could propel it back, right? So like I said, this is building a base right now, and I don't know how long this will take. So, but yeah, usually the semis will lead the bull market, but it hasn't shown that yet. Okay, let's look at Shopify. So Shopify, we're seeing lots of old names starting to prop back up. So you can see higher high here, holding so tight after making like such a big 3-day run. I didn't buy during those 3-day run. Now it's pulling back, and the 10 days catching up. So the ideal situation would be bounce off the 10-day. So that's when volume is drying up. This is exactly what you want to see. So technically, it's really strong. Fundamentally, it's really strong. So I think if I look at Shopify, so it's recovering from a negative earnings. So now it will be positive next quarter. So it's 3 cents negative. It's 300%, meaning it'll be like 6 cents. So so it'll be like kind of in like December quarter roughly. So it's gonna be, so now you can see 2 quarters are positive, and then next quarter will be positive again, and you can see now it's starting to climb back up, right? So of course it's still way below the previous high, but it's doing its move right now. And again, there's lots of confirmation. This is higher highs, higher lows, stuff like that. So this is acting really good. It's near the top, so doing really well performance wise. Intel, this one I think taking a break. So yeah, see, strong stocks. This was the strongest, right? Like in terms of a small cap, and it took 2-week break, and look how fast it bounced back. This is like what David Ryan would say, right? When the stock fall or index, same thing. The time it takes to recover, if it's faster, that's always mean like there's a lot of demand for the stock, because because it takes so much to people to sell over time, but it only takes a few days for people to buy back in, right? Like to profit so much faster to come back higher. This is a sign of you can see the volume here. This is a sign of demand, and this is definitely one of the strongest performance stock. And I can't believe it only took 2-week break and now it bounced back up. And again, numbers are really strong fundamentally. It's a young stock, but it could have huge potential, I think. IAS, I think we looked at that last time. So this is in the ad market. So this is kind of related to DV, right? They're both in the ad market. Again, this is a really strong uptrend right now. It's still far from the previous high. Looks almost like Shopify. This week it pulled back. So right now it's below 10-day, digesting. I'm not, again, it might hit the 50-day, right? A lot of these stocks, when they pull back, they tend to pull back to 50-day, especially after such a strong one. This is like a really, really strong run. Only at the beginning, when they break out, it pulled back to near the 50-day. It didn't even touch it. So there's a high chance it will touch the 50-day. But these are strong stocks to monitor. And again, they're probably pretty young, right? Most people don't even know this name. Hubs, I still holding Hubs. Again, pretty far from the previous high, but it's moving up slowly. You see, volume is there. Yeah, looks really good. Strong fundamentals, really strong. ASML, this one came up this week after the earnings report, I believe. This is a giant, right? 256 billion. Like, not many people talk about this stock, which I find interesting. But it's a Dutch manufacturer, maybe that's why. But yeah, it's building a nice base right now, really tight. You can see right here. I bought on Thursday, but it fell back on Wednesday. It fell back Thursday, Friday. So yeah, but it's holding above the 50-day, like all the short-term moving averages right there. It's a bigger stock, so it might be harder to move this stock, but I don't know. I just like the way the technical chart looks like. Obviously not as strong as Nvidia. We're gonna take a quick look at Nvidia. Yeah, see, Nvidia is pulling back on lower volume. This is amazing. This chart is amazing. Look at this. Look at those volume drying up every time it pulls back. That's amazing. Look at that. This is an incredible chart. But like I said, I want them to prove themselves on their earnings. Let's see what happens. I'm pretty sure they'll beat it. There's no, but it's just a matter of like whether there's such a high expectation that they're gonna guide lower than what people expect on the street. I don't know. That's the only thing I'm worried about at this point, because it has gone up a lot, right? This is no doubt stage 2 uptrend, prior uptrend, and so this is stage 1. Now we're in stage 2. So there's no doubt this is like one of the leaders. But I'm a little bit worried about like the expectation. But again, just like Microsoft, right? Look at what Microsoft did. Like, everyone had a high expectation, and they really did well on all around the clock, right? So I expect the same thing from Nvidia. They're just gonna blow out, like yeah, and then they might make new high on that news. So because honestly, there's nothing more bigger than the theme of AI right now, and Microsoft and Nvidia, and then we'll jump to Google right now because they just announced their AI on their search and stuff, and look at that, right? This is a nice pattern. It break out from all these previous highs, like nice trend line, and just power through like there's no tomorrow. Like this is amazing. So yeah, this is now confirmed like stage 2 uptrend now. So this is really good. Like even though they have corrected a lot, but they're coming back, right? And so so when people say, are the mega caps too far ahead? Yes, and a lot of analysts talk about it. But what if the growth is really coming right? What if things are starting to grow again? I don't know. Like, no one really knows. But what, like, there's an article, I'll just bring it up here. It's not really relating to AI, but let me see here. Yeah, see, this is related more to PC. Wall Street, Silicon Valley await post-COVID recovery for PC sales. So since COVID, everyone bought it, and then after that, 2022, no one buys it, right? But now they're saying, you know, maybe things are starting to come back on the computer side. You know, it's always a good thing for tech companies whenever people buy more computers, you know. So it's just better that way. So, but again, you can see all the high volume on Google. So definitely don't discount Google, despite so many media saying. I think there was one guy, really famous guy, I forget his name. He's a big tech investor, and he was on CNBC. I can't remember his name now. But he said, you know, he sold Google. He sold all Google shares. He hold it since like long time, like super long. And he sold all of them, and he doesn't like how Google become, you know, in terms of AI, how he became like not the leader no more. So in terms of search, right? And now, you know, they think Microsoft is gonna take over search, not take over, but like starting to grow their search market, and which means Google might be impacted. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell, but right now the market is not doing that. It's actually going the other way. So.
Yeah.
So maybe the market is big enough for both of them, right? So it's not a zero-sum game. I don't know. We'll see. Like, but right now the stock is not saying that. So that's why, you know, yeah. If you sold Google before this week, you'll be like, oh man, you know, it came up a lot. It went up how many? 11% this week. That's huge for a big cap. Yeah. So that's that. So ASML, Zillow, doing like that's the home sales internet stock, and you know it's probably uptrend here. It's starting to come up. It's trying to break out, you know, of this. Then it'll become stage 2. So I'm watching this. Surprises perform well because it's at the top of the list. This one CRSR also did well. Same thing. You can see all this trend line right here. 3 bases, higher lows every single time. Very choppy though, but now it finally broke out like to new high. Like the question is whether it's gonna pull back again, or whether it's just gonna shoot out. Like we don't know. So, but that's a stock that also not many people talk about. Oh yeah, security stocks rebound this week, I also believe. So I can't remember if there was some news. Maybe this, I don't know. Let's see, FTNT. No, this was last week earnings, so it moved up. But there was like a lot of them rebound this week. I thought there was some news. I can't remember now. Let's look at Palo Alto. Yeah, same thing. See, all these guys are rebounding right now. Even I'm surprised how fast Palo Alto came back up. Look at this, 4 sessions. It took so many sessions to go down, and then it only took like 4 sessions to come back to where it was. That's amazing, right? This is like, you know, we see a couple of days here of volume. So we'll see.
Yeah, my stop loss was hit roughly around where your red triangles were when I was out.
Yeah, I'm not in this right now, so I'm waiting for it to pull back to get back in, and it doesn't look like it wants to pull back much. It's really tight. Like I'm hoping to get closer to the 10-day. We'll see. It might not because I don't know. It's just really strong. The whole group is moving right now. Look at CrowdStrike. Okay, CrowdStrike is one of the weakest one. Okay. There was a few others. Zscaler. Okay, so this is, you see, all of them are rebounding. Some of these are stronger rebound. Yeah. So okay, now ServiceNow. So ServiceNow, they reported this was the day, big bounce, and then I was like, okay, it's still below 10 days, so I'm not gonna get in. Then it pulled back down, and now it's above 10 days. Look at that, and then look. So when it sometimes, you know, I'll buy on the first day, it bounce back about. Usually I do, but I miss it. And then the second day, it pulled back really tiny. And then the third day, it rebound again. Now, the only reason I think I didn't get in is the volume is lower this week. I really want to see higher volume on the right side of the base, and I'm not seeing any right now. So that's why I'm holding back on this. But overall, this stock is acting okay. Obviously when it breaks out, it'll be stage 2, but it hasn't done that yet. One thing that I'm seeing in a lot of these charts I'm showing you, of course, these are just a very small subset of the whole market, but these stocks could be, continue to be leaders, right? And it's a bigger subset, right? Palantir did well as well. I think they announced some AI stuff as well, or they talk about it during their earnings call. And so the stock really reacted well. Look at this, first day, second day. Now it's pulling back. It's pretty tight for it's not it's not super tight, but it's tight enough. So the 10 day is going to catch up, and let's see what happens, right? So some of these stocks that are bounced really strong from the earnings, I will miss because I just don't like to try to buy at a higher price. But I want to see how they react after that. And then right now it's starting to pull back. But yeah, it's looking good. Like again, same thing. All these stocks are obviously more volatile because they're AI related, and this one is very volatile. So Comvault is database. They also reported pretty good. It's okay. And then we have so this one is kind of related to medical, but it's in the software area. It was I like this stock before. It has some small run. There's a small run, not big, but it's been constantly building big bases. That's the only thing I don't like. But this time, it's really small base. Look at that. So it has nice runs before. You see, when it runs smooth. It's not a power type of stock, like meaning you won't get big gains right away, but it is something that potentially it's really tight right now. That's volume drying up on the sell side, so that's good. So everything is looking good on this stock so far. Okay, double verify. We're gonna talk about this. So this guy, so Thursday, I got in because he was holding most of the day, and then Friday it reversed, which I don't know why, if there's a news or not. I'm still in this. I think my stop loss is around this area right here. So we'll see. It's I don't like the reversal for sure, but so we'll see. But it's I think the storyline here is because I don't even know much about DV until this week. It's right here. Provide digital media measurement for internet TV and social media platform, advertising views, engagement with consumers online. The two biggest partners are Facebook, Instagram, which is part of Meta, and Alphabet, YouTube. And TikTok is a new customer. So all the big three giants is using their platform right now. So I really like that. So it has huge potential, I think. I mean, look at these numbers. Like, look at the number of institutions. 99 rating, 100% growth. If I search for DB here, another 100% growth. So that would give it around 12 cents. Yeah, more than 12 cents, 13 cents probably. So that would be a new number. So yeah, it is volatile, as you can see. I put my note here. Definitely harder to hold, but so this is the uptrend, prior uptrend. Here's the big base. So if it breaks out of this, it's going to be stage 2, and that's the key here. We'll see. Like I said, this is a very volatile stock. Like you can see from this daily trading range, it's crazy. So we'll see. Market has to be decent for this stock to move because it's just too volatile. But but other than that, it's not. I like the fundamental story. So, Doc and I never really look at this stock, Digital Ocean. Yeah, this in the infrastructure, and yeah, it's okay. It reported, and then it kind of drifted lower, but volume is drying up, so it might be a good news. But this is obviously also very, very low from previous high. So this is building a base right now. So this is a prior uptrend. So we can break out of this, so you can see some of them are much lower in the range. You want to probably be at the higher range. Those are the ones that probably have, but the numbers are strong. You can see all these numbers here. I don't know why this stock get beaten up so bad. It's like the numbers are pretty good. I don't know why. Yeah. That's it for tech. Anything else I miss?
No. Can you open the chart of Airbnb? What's going on there?
Oh, yeah. Airbnb, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately they lowered, like they beat their numbers, but they lowered their guidance, right? So I think what they said was people are more conscious of what they rent, and so they're mostly renting the lower pricing ones rather than the higher. So that's why their guidance are going lower in the future. And this stock is taking a beating. Yeah. This is like this is like normally the first day sell off. I like I said, just like a gap up, same thing, right? I would be like, okay, maybe people who want to sell are just gonna sell and get out, and that's it. But look at it, right? Like it just couldn't make headway after, right? So that's a bad sign, Usually the first day I would discount that, but the second or third day, look at this, it keep making newer lows. That's a bad sign, right? So it reminds me a little bit like ANET, right? Like first day sell off, okay, you can discount that, but second day it continued to sell off. So now you see it's having such, like, even though it bounced back a little bit, this is a very big bounce back, right? It's still below 10-day, right? Like it's like the opposite. You have like a really big drop in a short time, but then it bounced back. It takes so many days and it only bounced so little. Like again, the demand versus supply is not there. So it's still, the downtrend is still continue, right? So and this also goes back to, like, obviously more obvious is like regional bank, same thing, right? You see 4 days here, 3 days, and look, 5-6 days bounce and gone nowhere, right? Still under 10-day, right? And then it make new low. Every time it make new low, again, you look at the same thing. Okay, so now it bounced back. How much? So 3-4 days. How far did it go? Okay, it's still below 10-day, right? So the 10-day becomes a resistance line. Sometimes as the 21-day get closer, it will try to go to 21-day, and that's exactly what happened here and here. But then it fell again, right? And this is this is the scary part. Like, we don't want to see that kind of stuff. That's why, yeah, like, especially these are fundamental bad news. The question is, has it dropped enough that people are willing to buy? And I don't know. So you see the previous lows right there, $81. So yeah. But that's Airbnb. Any other question on this one?
No.
Yeah, but let's go to retail now. I really believe retail, not all groups, all subgroups, but some of them are really strong. Okay, let's look at LTH. This is fitness. There's a whole bunch of fitness that have done well, and then now they're kind of going sideways, which is a good thing, because you can go up all the time. It has to pause, and now it's pausing, and you can see really tight range. Yeah, it hasn't given up much. Yeah, this is so this is the prior uptrend, and now it's getting out of stage 2. So this is really nice. This is at the top of the list. So yeah, that's pretty good. I think the other one I was looking at, I don't know, XPOF. But I don't think. Let me see if they're how they're doing. I haven't. Yeah, because they reported and then they didn't. I don't know. They fell on the news. Yeah, this was the day they reported a big swing. Now it's leaving below the 50-day. Again, it hasn't recovered much yet, so I have a feeling this will correct more just because it hasn't bounced back like fast. But yeah, there was a theme around fitness, but I think they run up so much that they might be pausing, you know. So some of this will probably pause and build a base here. So, but that's in that group. Las Vegas. So these are the traveling, like casino. Okay, let's look at casino. Yes, like casino hotel chain. Look at this. This is stage one. Build a base, really tight base. Well, compared to this run, and then it broke out. Unfortunately, it came back to the buy point. Took a position on Wednesday, shake out on Friday. Yeah, but I still like this stock. It's just, it didn't do as well on Friday. Royal, so this one has gone up. I think RCL, Royal Caribbean Group, the cruise line. So this is a nice one. This is tight action, and then it fall to 10-day. So now what we want to see is a bounce. So I think this is a good stock. This again, same thing. Prior uptrend, base, broke out. Now we want to see it continue the stage two. So these are the ones that I feel like has the most potential, because some of them, like I said, some of them are still like at the bottom of the base, but these ones are near, like at the top, right near the top. So once the market conditions improve, we could be moving up pretty strongly. So that's stage two. Uber. Yeah, Uber is really strong. See, it bounced up 3 days, and then that's what some stocks do. They kind of doesn't pull back right away, and then you can see it make new high. It broke out, and these are strong. Like this is the strongest one. Like when they just don't even want to come back to the 10-day. So, but eventually they might. And the 10-day you see is slowly coming up, and this it might eventually hit it. It might not. I don't know. For me, I don't usually know the best way to handle this because I missed that. But in this market condition right now, I'm not too aggressive. So like I said, I don't want to chase any stock at the on the breakout side. If it was like like kind of in the base deal, I might chase it, but because I miss it, I'd rather wait for a pullback. But it is a very strong stock. So you can see it's it's doing pretty good. It's doing pretty good. That's Uber. CHDN, this is kind of like casino, gambling, stuff like that. This one is really strong. Like it broke out of this like long-term trend. It just shot up like crazy on earnings. Yeah, huge potential. And again, see it climbed 3 days, and look at it. Like even though it falls back, look at it. I can't even see a day touching the 10-day line, right? Like there's just so much like holding rather than selling, and it seems like someone's buying as it can't even try to pull back. Like it's just so tight. It's crazy tight, and the volume is drying up. Look at that volume. So like yeah, any bounce right here, I would be in. I'm not in it yet, but I'll set a buy point here. Yeah, they own lots of like horse race tracks, stuff like that, casinos, and they're doing really well. Like again, this long-term trend line they've broken out. Yeah, it looks really good. Li Auto. So yeah, Li Auto did really well this week on earnings. I think was listening to IBD Live. They're saying they're growing really fast. It's one of the, I think there's many, right? Like 4 or 5 big ones in China, EV makers, and LI is the fastest growing one now, I think, based on growth rate, obviously. I think BYDDF is still the absolute biggest number manufacturer, but LI is like, in terms of growth rate, they're growing really fast. So yeah, it reacted really well in the news, broke out in this trend line, and look at that volume. That's huge volume. So again, it's already extended. It's really far from the 10-day. So I don't know if I look back here, like, always like look back in previous how it trade. So here's an example right here. It broke out. Eventually it did fall back. So yeah, I would let's say I wouldn't chase. I'll just let it drop back and then find an entry point. But these stocks that are showing lots of strength right now. So yeah. CPA did really well this week, and airline Cooper Airline, I think that's what it's called. It's always been on my radar, but I've never traded it. But this week, you see, same thing, it broke out on a long-term trend line right here. And this is probably the most powerful breakout I've seen in this whole run, in this whole last 2 years. So I would be yeah, I think I missed this one. Yeah, I missed this. We'll see what happens near the 10-day. Might fire entry point there. CELH, oh my god, CELH. This one has the biggest 1 day. I think it was like 20% or something. Yeah, broke out 20%. Yeah, as it was going up here, I was like, wow, it's looking so nice, right? And I just didn't want to take the risk that, of the earnings. So obviously it did really well on earnings. Again, same thing here. It's breaking out a long-term trend line. Look at this. So this is like 3 big bases here it broke out of. So, I think I did get in. Did I get in? I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, I did. So I did take a risk on that day. Yeah, right here. I bought it just because it's just one of those stocks that like like their earnings are really good too, like the forecast. So that's what's the big reason I'm willing to take that risk. Yeah, 100% growth. So if we look at the numbers, so 12 cents, it's gonna be 24 cents. Yeah, it's looking good. Double-digit growth again. Yeah, I like it. But I would I know, even though I bought it, I probably did chase it a little bit. I have a feeling it might come back in. So yeah, it's just because of like the volume was so big. Like I was like, I have to get in. And like I said, I've been watching this as it climbs, and I was like, I didn't take the risk. Like in Shockwave, I did the same thing. Shockwave, I actually got in before the earnings, which was no, well that one the earnings didn't come out yet, but I got in pretty early. Let me see. I'm just trying to see if there was a difference. So 200-day line is going up. So it was somewhere around here. Like I can't remember exactly. 50 days going up. So if I go back to CELH, I just want to make sure those are the same thing. So 200 is going up. Yeah, so 50-day, just start turning up. I think that was the reason why I didn't take any position here. And it was too close to earnings. I don't have any room, right? Whereas Shockwave, I was able to buy it earlier. Like I said, it's somewhere around here. It's probably right here. Like I know the earnings not soon, so if it does run up, I have some room. And I did hold through this earnings, and then I took my gains because it fell below my trigger point here. It was a good gain. Like I think that was my biggest gain this year, but it wasn't big position, unfortunately. But like that's the reason, because I'm trying to understand. Stocks like CELH, not Celsius, sorry, Celsius, are you know, a lot of people like this stock fundamentally. So yeah, so it could be a big winner, like, because they have lots of promises, right? Pepsi own 8% or something. Who knows? They might add more. If they do well, they'll continue to add more shares in the future, buy more shares. WWE, this stock, like, you know, I think they announced a merger or something, but the stock continued to move nicely. So I don't know what's going on, but it looks really good, the stock chart. Like, look at how many buy days here. Look at this volume. Like, there's no one selling. Like, even this pullback is still like sticking to the 10-day, but the 10-day is starting to curve down. But the 50-day is catching up. Usually that's a good sign. So yeah. But I got shaken out on this day right here. Because I bought it in the morning, it went up and then it went back down. And I usually, yeah, I don't like reversals. And yeah, so we'll see. But it's very tight. This is like 3 weeks of big run and then such a 3 weeks of tight, you know, sideways action, right? But it did make lower lows, but it's just so little, like just subtle, you know? And so that's why I got triggered. But I would get back in as soon as, you know, it bounced again. Unfortunately, I just got him back too early. Okay, so that's WWE. H, that's another hotel chain. I think I got shaken out on this one too. Like, again, this is really nice. This is a nice big base, prior uptrend. This is in stage 2 now. It built another small little base here. Now look at how tight this is, right? This base compared to this one. But yeah, I did get shaken out again. Same thing. This is the problem with this market. Like if you try to get in, like me, which is trying to get in as many stocks to diversify right now, because I don't know who's going to be the leader, and then I'm going to narrow in over time. But that's the problem, right? Even getting in is hard to get in because there's just so much volatility. So you can get shaken out quite a bit, especially if you have tight loss, stop loss. Monster. So this is also like Celsius. They're all doing pretty well. Look at this. Look at this pullback, and then that's it. Like, it couldn't even make newer lows anymore. Just one day. Like, that was it. This is like strong. Monster. So there's 2 themes in the retail, I find, or 3. There's the drinks, right? And then there's the airlines, hotels. There is and casino, like kind of all related. And then there is TH is also hotel related. This is a small cap. It had a big correction almost right here. I'm shaking out right here. And now this week it report earnings and it bounced back pretty strong. So that's, you know, that's exactly what you want to see. Bounce back strong. Look at those volume days. So yeah, like, and this one is like, you know, it's a small cap, right? So but if you look at the overall chart, look at the 200-day line. It's like, this is like a very sharp vertical for a 200-day line. So definitely a young growth stock. Yeah. There's BJRI, restaurants, THS, food package. OLO is a retail internet. This is also a new name. Let me just take a look. Okay, this one is, you know, obviously not doing so well right now. Yeah, it reversed on the earnings, so that's not good. Oh no, it's okay. It's pulling back slightly, but this is still on the 200-day downtrend, so probably want to wait for it to come back up above it. What was I gonna say? Okay, so I think I missed Onon. Yeah, let's look at Onon. It's reporting this week, and look at this chart. It's probably, according to many people, they feel this is the strongest stock in the whole market, including Jim Robel. And the reason is, it's just so tight trading, right? And strong 21-day support. Look at this 21-day support. And then 10-day, it's just riding along the 10-day. And this is after a significant gain. You can see 38% from this buy point. So this is why it's so strong. Now, earnings coming out in 3 days. I do own this stock. I'm going to risk it. Just because I feel like this is the strongest stock in the market right now. I am going to risk, of course, I could be wrong. So I could give up a lot of my gains if it dropped to 50-day line on earnings. Yeah, I just feel like, I keep hearing the same thing. People are buying on shoes right now, on and on shoes. So I haven't bought one, I haven't looked at one, but I just keep hearing people talking about it. I feel like that is a message that I feel like, their sales and earnings and everything will be better. So that's just my take on it. Again, this is a personal view. Has nothing to do with the company itself, but let's see if that will hold through. And I just feel like this stock is like, an IPO, and yeah, it has lots of potential, and we're still far from the high, but not that far. So we'll see. What do you think?
Yeah.
I will draw you also paint it.
Yeah, so this was the last earnings, and it popped this much. See, that was the last earnings. So if it's good again, then obviously it can go that way. But if it's bad, like I said, it's gonna undercut the 50-day. So we'll see what happens. Jim Ropel, he's he owns this quite a bit too. He's selling calls, I think, or puts, I don't remember, to hedge. Yeah, I don't usually do that, so the only thing I could do is maybe sell half and take half the profit. But my position is not that big, so even if it did drop 10-15%, it wouldn't be too big of an impact. So that's why I'm willing to take this risk. But we'll see. But I really feel like this is the strongest stock in the market. If you look at, okay, so what is their forecast? So let's look at it. It's 107% earnings. But I think most people care more about what their forward guidance is, just like most of the stocks right now. So this will be roughly 10 cents. Yeah. So we'll see.
But I'm gonna say
that is Ona. Yep. We'll see how it did this week. This is probably the only one that I care about reporting this week. Yeah, that's retail. So yeah, the three themes are travel related, which include hotels, casinos, again, cruises, all those still doing well. We have fitness kind of pulling back right now. And then we have like Uber, like some of the other ones, Uber. We have Li Auto. Those are all kind of independent by themselves, doing well. But yeah, that's retail. Industrial, there's a few, not too many. TGLS, I believe I got back into this stock. So last week, I got shaken out on this day on the earnings, and then it bounced back. So I'm in it right now. So it's holding pretty tight. Hasn't done much, but it hasn't done poorly either. So we'll see. That's TGLS. TDG is newcomer, at least on my list. It's broke out this week, new high. Really strong. Like this is really strong. Like technically this is I don't know if this is an all-time high, but let me see. Yeah, this is an all-time high. Look at that. You see, that's the thing. You won't find many old names. You won't find many old names that have this chart pattern right now. Like this is an old name, right? And so most old names are still under their previous high. This is one that has broken out, and so I did get into it this week. I think I got on the day of the earnings. I don't remember what price though, so I might be down a little bit. I don't know, because it has pulling back. So this is a good opportunity to get in. If it kind of found some support at 10-day on Friday. So if it make a new high on Friday, I would add more shares. So yeah, this is strong. This is super strong from a old name perspective. Like this is even stronger than, like I said, we saw the computer group, software group, like a lot of them old names coming back up, but they're nowhere near highs, right? And this one is like all-time high. So GVA, building heavy construction. Okay, so this one's trying to come back, but yeah, so this day it bounced. So there's some earnings. I don't remember what this day is. It is largest volume bounce. But yeah, but it's still stuck under the 10-day, 21-day. See, so that's the problem here. So NSCC, this one did really well this week, I believe. Security, okay. Okay, so it built this base, big base. I don't like this, but this usually shake out a lot of people because it's a base under this base. So a huge shakeout, big jump on the earnings. Look at how tight it's trading right now. That's exactly what you want to see. Let's look at the overall chart. So this is also like, already in stage 2, right? This is probably uptrend now. This is stage 2. But this correction is huge. That's the only thing that I don't like about it. But the numbers are superior. So look at this triple-digit growth. And if you look at NSCC here, okay, so 38%. So that will be 20 cents, 38. Yeah, so that will be roughly 28 cents. So kind of in line with this current quarter. So yeah, yeah, this one is more volatile because it's 1 billion cap. So that's probably why. ARMK. There's not too many industrial commercial stocks on my list because a lot of them has corrected, right? That's what's happening. A lot of them have this pattern, but these are the ones that have report good earnings and guidance and coming back up. So volume is okay. It's not super strong, so it's okay. I think that's it. Health is doing pretty good. Let's go look at health. Okay, there's lots of smaller guys. TCMD is one new name. Let me take a look at this guy. Yeah, look at this guy. It's like, look at that 50-day trend line, so strong. Right now it's a little bit extended, I feel. But yeah, that's a smaller stock. Exacts also. TMDS, all these are look at how many medical products at the top here. Like Penn is probably the biggest one. Let me take a look. Penn. Yeah, 12 billion cap. Look at this. Look at this group. It's crazy. Okay, so look at MBO. So this is the very popular for obesity drug right now. Like I really feel like this stock could be the titan of this bull run. Look at this. Look at this. Yeah, like this is a big cap stock, but it's running like a young growth stock. So David Ryan on this one, he actually bought on this day. Like he took some risk. I was surprised on the pullback because he's like, oh, pullback, time to buy. Because this stock hasn't pulled back much. Because this was this run. Because if you miss this one, and then it went sideways, and then now it's going sideways again, and then this is where a lot of people got shaken out. See my arrow here? I think I got shaken out too. But he bought on that day. I bought on Friday on this little past this trend line, the middle trend line here. Volume has dried up on the selling. See that? Yeah, this stock, like the obesity market is so big, and I don't know, man. It can go a lot higher. Like it could be the Like, you know, and again, look at the monthly chart. Look at this stock. This is like TDG, right? Like, but this is even way more advanced than TDG because TransDigm. Because look at how far it has making new highs. Look at this,
Wow.
right? So these are like, so we're talking about liquidity because, you know, for the market to have leaders, we need liquidity stocks, and these are the few TDG, NVO. Like, these are not even your, you know, your tech stocks, right? But they have products that are, you know, in high demand right now, you know. So yeah, so okay, so those are really good. So I'm in NVO, I'm in TDG, both of them. ISRG, this one is also pretty good. So a lot of people always say this is an old name, but like I say, you look at the monthly chart, what does it tell you, right? It's just, I don't know, it just doesn't stop growing in this company. Like, of course, right now it's building a pretty big base, but it's coming back up on the right side. So, like, some people think this name won't run as much. I don't know, man. The action is showing otherwise. You see, all this demand right here, all the volume. It has, you know, slowed down in volume. But I think it just needs some time to catch up for the 50-day to catch up. And same thing with the 10-day. So, yeah, see, look at how obedient it is on the 10-day. Look at this. Like, it didn't even want to come down to 21-day once. So I really like this stock. Look at how tight it's trading right now. So I like these names. Probably, you know, these are really powerful, good names. This is new name AMPH. Well, new name as in recently that I'm looking at. So it has this correction. It has this big run. So when those stocks goes on a run like this, when it breaks hard. So that's something always you have to be careful, right? Just because a stock has gone on a big run, doesn't mean when it fall, it won't fall hard. Like, usually it does. But now, see, this is the same thing. 1 week big drop, now it's coming back pretty strong. So that's exactly what you want to see. That's probably I don't know what the reason why it dropped so hard that day. I don't know if there's some news or something. I'm not sure. But overall, like, yeah, this one is definitely more volatile. Again, small cap. Yeah, this is the big run right here. So right now it's near new high again. Like, look at how fast is that near new high again. That's amazing. Yeah, I like the health sector right now. I feel like they're the most reliable right now. But yeah, like, smaller caps will still be volatile. Lantheus. Yeah, so this was the earnings came out really strong. It pulled back before the earnings. I got shaken out right here. Now look at it. It pulled back after the run, the 1 day up, and it never even touched the 10-day, and it continues. So this is exactly what you want to see. Like, these are the stocks you want to, you know, technically these are the strongest ones. Lantheus, really good. Like, I think all these health stocks are so strong, crazy strong. AZN. Yeah, see, all these stocks are at new highs, right? That's the difference. Like, they're not even near the highs. It's like above the highs, right? So, and they're just pulling back to the 10-day, 21-day. Look at this. It's trading so tight. Volume's drying up. So as soon as market has some good news, it will probably bounce again. So so it's okay. BSX, Boston Scientific. Look at this. It's just slowly climbing out the 50-day. Of course, some of these are not going to move as fast because they are big cap. But it's easy to hold, right? I like that. This is obey 21-day. 50 days right here. Everything is nice uptrend. These are all stage 2 uptrends. Like, this one also at, okay, wow. It did suffer a big drop before. And then since that time, it has been climbing back up. COVID hit. And then this is 2022. Yeah, it's pretty good for 2022. Look at that. And this is the company that was gonna acquire rumor Shortwave. It's gonna the rumor anyway. Hasn't actually announced that. But the one thing that was interesting was that people saying how when Boston, like even though the rumor came out, both stocks went up. So that's interesting. That just shows how bullish people are on this sector, in the medical product sector. That whole group is just so strong. That's why we see, right, all this medical products group is at the top. Pretty much all of them. Yeah. Yep. That's the health group. Yeah. Those ones, I find these ones are the easiest to hold. Like I haven't even like trade any of them. Like once I bought it, it's just in there. Like it hasn't moved. Like it just slowly move up. Yeah, I like that. We already talked about commodities, financial. There's a few, not too many. So I think this one was a new name I mentioned last time. You know, see this big drop. Now it's moving back. This is IPO. Oh, this is monthly chart. Let me go to monthly chart. Yeah, similar. Yeah, 50-day looking good. This is a turnaround story. So FRHC. These are all small caps, so could be yeah, this one, look at how tight this base is. New RS line, look at that. Okay, earnings coming out in 2 days, so we gotta watch out for that. FCNCA. Oops. Look at this guy. Broke out. Okay, this one's bigger cap. This is Bang Southeast. Ah, interesting. Interesting. It looks like this company is growing. Let me check the look at this number right here. I don't know if this is right. Look at this. I don't know. That looks a little bit wrong. I don't know. Say FCNCA 169%. That looks more like it. So that's 100% growth. That's pretty good. So yeah, it came out with strong earnings. Yeah, it's definitely extended. So